So it's a new year, which means we need to set up for a new year of photo work. There's a whole process that I'll generally go through to set myself up for the next year so that I have all my files backed up, I have the previous years backed up, and I'm ready to start working in the new year and not have to be like bogged down with any other stuff. So let's go through that process. To start out, we need to start a new Lightroom catalog. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I like to have one single catalog for the whole year. This makes it much easier to see all of my photos, all of my different weddings, all my different sessions in one setting, be able to export anything when I need it, and just have everything in one space. Also, this helps when using things like Imagine, so then I'm able to actually get to all my photos easily without having to keep switching the catalog all the time. It's just a lot of headache having multiple catalogs. So one catalog for the year, or if you have massive amounts of work, maybe do one for each half of the year. So what I'm going to do now is I'm in Lightroom and I'm going to go ahead and jump in and create a new catalog, which I actually have already done. But generally I'll come in here, I'll make a new folder for the year, and then inside that folder, I'll create my catalog. So you see here, here's my 2025 catalog, and that's all set and ready to go. If I go ahead and jump into that, you'll see I have a totally blank catalog that's set and ready for me to go for the year. And this is where I'll start importing all my photos. If you want to see my full process, how I'm importing stuff, where I'm saving my catalog, and even how to edit photos and export them, definitely make sure to check out my Lightroom course. I'll link that right up above and in the description below. Now that I've set up my catalog for the new year, I need to go back and deal with my photos from the last year. Now, all your photos from the last year can take up a lot of space. So what we want to do is not only back up these photos, but make them as small as possible. And the best way to do that is with JPEG Mini. I've been using JPEG Mini for years. I'm not sponsored. Hopefully they see this and will sponsor me at some point, but it's the best way to make your photos smaller sizes without actually changing the image quality. And when I'm talking about a smaller size, I'm not talking about the actual size of the photo itself, like the dimensions, but the file size. So here is JPEG Mini, and it's pretty straightforward. You're pretty much going to throw your photos into it, and it's going to make them smaller in file size, not in dimensions. However, if you ever want to, you can go into the settings, and you can actually make it export to a different folder and set the max width for that as well. So if for some reason, let's say you exported your photo for delivery for your couple, but you want to easily be able to make copies of those photos that are smaller for your website, you can go in here and do that. But the main thing I always want to do is just optimize my photos. So make sure Optimize Originals is turned on. And now that I've done that, I can actually make my file sizes smaller. So since JPEG Mini is dealing with only your JPEGs, what I'll do is go into the hard drive where I have all my exported photos that I've delivered to my couples, find that whole folder, so that's it here, photo exports, and take that whole thing and put it into JPEG Mini. Now again, this is going to go through all the photos and make them smaller in size, not in dimension. I'll generally do this at the start of the new year or the end of the last year and just make everything as small as possible so that I know that the photos are not going to take up as much space, so then I can actually archive everything. Now you can see at the bottom how much space I've already saved using JPEG Mini, so I use this all the time. And right now it's going through all the photos that I've already used JPEG Mini on, which is why you see that it's not having any megabytes saved. But once it gets to any photos it hasn't done, that will actually show up and start saving space there. You can see here after it's gone through my whole hard drive, I saved myself 33 gigs of space. So this is something you should definitely be doing at the end of the year to save yourself space on your external hard drives. After making all my file sizes smaller with JPEG Mini, then I move on to archiving some of my older photos. Basically what's happening with that is I'll go back, find my RAW folders and also the JPEG exports and put those onto my network attached server. This is where I archive all of my files for long-term storage. Now, generally I won't save the RAW files for too long. Those take up a lot of space, especially when you're shooting like me with the GFX system, which is 102 megapixels. So RAW files eventually I'm going to delete after like a year or two. But the JPEGs, I try to keep them as long as possible. Now that may seem a little extra, but I've had a wedding couple come back to me literally like 5 years later. And I luckily just happen to have their photos. So again, I like to save the JPEGs. You could put them in a cloud, you could put them on an archive server, like I'm saying. Anything of that sort is going to work out. Now, I have a Synology NAS, and that's where I put all of my photos. It's a 4-bay, so that way I have all of my photos backed up in a RAID 1. So I know if any of the drives fail, it's actually protected because the rest of the drives have the data on it as well. I think I made a video about that. If I did, there'll be a link about it up above. But having a NAS for archiving is great because with 4 bays, you can make these things huge. Like I think my one for video is like 30 terabytes or something. So again, you want a large NAS like that so that you can archive your stuff. I don't work off of it. I'll just use normal external hard drives or SSDs for that. But for all of my archive long-term stuff, I'm going to move it over to the NAS. Now, the fourth step for me is going to be backing up to the cloud, which is something you should be doing at all times. I use Backblaze to do this. I'm also not sponsored by them either, but I do have a link in the description below if you want to check them out, and also a video on my backup process, which will help out. But with Backblaze, you're constantly backing up your whole computer and all the external hard drives in it to the cloud. Backblaze is a continuous backup, which is nice, so you don't have to think about it. However, if you don't use your laptop like a home system like I do, where it's connected to like a bigger screen and other stuff, Backblaze is not going to work when it doesn't see the external hard drives that you want to back up. So just keep that in mind. Don't turn it on and have it be like, oh no, I can't back up because I don't see the drives. That will happen often if you're not always connected to your drives. I use my laptop like a desktop until I take it somewhere else. So that's not a problem for me, but just keep that in mind. With Backblaze, you want to tell it which files and folders and external hard drives you want it to back up. And then once you've done that, it's just going to continually back up. You can see here in my settings, I have all my different drives that I want it to back up. And then basically whenever a backup happens, which is automatically at all times, it's just going to go ahead and back up all that stuff as much as possible. Now, my actual internet is pretty trash. The upload speeds are the worst, but this is still worth it because it's just backing up whenever it can. I don't have to worry about it. I know the stuff is backed up. And I think I also have a specific video on Backblaze, which I'll put up above, but I've dealt with hard drive failures and they were able to get me my data back. So this is definitely this is something you're doing at all times. It's not just for the new year. And then the last part of my process for the new year is to use ChronoSync to back up my drives. This is huge. You want an actual carbon copy of your hard drives so that you know that they're backed up. I can't tell you how many hard drive failures I have. And if you just have one external hard drive, you'll be like, that's great. Don't. Get yourself ChronoSync. I'm not sponsored by them either. Get ChronoSync and set it up. Now, ChronoSync is going to be for my larger backups. And like I said, it's for full-on external hard drive backups. So I have a couple of old hard drives that I keep. They're like in the back somewhere collecting dust. But what I do is every now and then I'll bring them out, set them up, and then have them back up an external that I'm already using. So you can see here, I have 3 different backup settings. So my photo exports is what I was showing you earlier. So I carbon copy that to another external hard drive that again is just sitting in the back just in case. So now I have it on the external hard drive, an archived version of it on my NAS and in the cloud, and also on another external hard drive that's just a backup chilling in the back. So you can never be too safe, especially when it comes to wedding photos. Now, my other 2 backups are for video and also more video stuff. There's so much, video takes up so much space, y'all. Oh, goodness. If you're a photographer and you're starting to get into like video, just know it takes up a lot of space. So both of these are backing up to my different NASs I have for video only. Again, one is to an external hard drive, which is sitting in the back, and another is to the NAS I have for my archiving. Because again, you can never be too safe. The reason these both have the little yellow thing is because right now ChronoSync cannot find those external hard drives to back up. But pretty much you set it up, you tell it what you want it to do. So you can say, hey, take this folder here on this drive and move it over to this folder here on that drive, and then just say synchronize. If it sees everything and it knows where it is, you hit synchronize, it does it. You don't have to do anything at all. which is nice. There's not a lot of work on your side. It's just really setting up what you want. Now, this is not automatic like Backblaze is. This is the type of thing where I'll come and sit down and be like, okay, I haven't synced up my drives in like 3, 4 months. So let me do it. And I'll do this every couple months throughout the year so that I know I have a carbon copy of my drives. With this process, you're sure to never lose any of your photos. You know everything is backed up and safe. And now you're prepared for the new year to take amazing photos throughout the year and serve your clients. And speaking of serving your clients, sometimes you're not really sure what to do on a photo session. So here are my 10 favorite poses that I use at every photo session and wedding to make sure I at least get some poses in that I know I'm going to have every time.